Alright, so making some more progress on the body. I've got the black kind of painted in up front. Still got some spots that need touch-ups, but the silver and the scratches are coming out through pretty well. And then when you look at the body down the side from the angle, you can definitely see all the damage and scratches along the side. I'm just now starting to go along these little spots where I had the black paint down in the center, and I'm doing like a silver, basically little partial circle around it, so it ends up looking like that. And then I think what that will end up doing is creating that, like a black center with a silver circle, which will resemble bullet holes with the paint behind it. So I just grabbed one of my quick rags, but that kind of give me an idea of what it'll look like with the marks and the damage and scratches and stuff that I've put on it so far. Stuff like that, and kind of get an idea of where maybe it needs some extra color and touch. Alright, so got the body taped off after I put on the marks and the damage and did the highlighting on all that stuff. So I've got this pretty much ready to go and taped off the top. Brought it out here, hit it with some black real quick on the top after I had to create my own window masks. I created those. I do have a little bit of bleed in some spots that I'm going to have to clean up, but for the most part came out pretty good, for having to mask it myself. So I left this kind of open right here with tape, and I just sprayed up into it so it kind of does a fade. And then that way when I hit it with the actual color, the color and the black will kind of fade into each other here and connect. I just need to do one more black line right here below the tape to finish off the window seal, so that way you can differentiate between the window and the paint. But I think I'm going to go pick up some lime green or candy apple green or some color of a greenish tone to put on this Silvia. So okay, so I'm out here with my body. And I went ahead and painted off the insides with a metallic black for the roof and the sides. And then I went ahead and I taped up the sides right there and spray painted like into this little opening. And it kind of gave me this tiny little squirt of black up in there. And then what I did was I went ahead and I took some of the tint, which is that one right there, the RC294 window tint, and I went ahead and sprayed that lightly in this opening where I had untaped it on both sides to kind of get myself a fade. And basically what it did was it shot up into that little opening and then kind of faded out. So now when I lay down the color over top of it, it should go from a black fade down into the other color. And the other color I got is PS8, this light green, or a lime green color rather. I think it'll look pretty good against the black and the other damage and stuff that I've got on here and whatnot. Alright, so I went ahead and brought it back inside. It's pretty much dried now. I went ahead and took off most of the masking. And in taking the masks off, I also went ahead and just peeled the mask off the sides a little bit. And what I did was I essentially peeled it and folded it down into itself so I could expose this bottom section at an angle and this bottom section. And then what I did was I went ahead and took my tint and basically sprayed a very fine mist on there, and you can kind of see how it goes right off the edge of the wheel well right there, the difference. But anyway, that's going to kind of give it that dirty, like grimy look from being dirty. Back here I've got, looks like burnt rubber and shit stuck to the back, because when you drift your car you end up with rubber bits stuck all over it, which everybody should kind of be able to see that on there. So I got that. I went ahead and also did just a little bit of that up here on the front, so that way it's kind of got that dirty splattered look up front, but again also down the side. And then you can see up here where I actually have the cutoff, and this is where I went from the black into the tint and kind of faded it. Which it's okay. It's not a great fade, but I mean, it'll definitely add an effect whenever I spray the other color under there, which I'm going to go with this bright green. So the contrast there should definitely stand out. So almost ready for that. Got to do a little bit more cleanup, and then should be ready to lay down a layer of green on the inside. Okay, so on to the next step. I have went ahead and masked off the headlights so that way when I get my headlight and tail light buckets, I can go ahead and install those, and it'll still be clear. I did mask them off pretty tightly right to the line, so hopefully it holds up. If not, I've always got my rubbing alcohol and some Q-tips that will take off any additional excess or overspray or whatever. So yeah, so anyway, so I've got those masked off, and I went ahead and uncovered the vent from the inside, so now it's just masked out on the outside so it doesn't overspray out. I went ahead and covered that vent and made sure the tape was tight in there as well. So I should be ready to go ahead and lay down my first layer of green and get this body with some actual paint on it. Okay, so back here in my little art area, and I've got my paint that I went ahead and shook up real well for several minutes, and I have put it in some warm water to also increase the pressure, so that way I get a little bit better spray without the spurts and whatnot, and hopefully everything will be good there. I've got the masks on my headlights and taillights, which I just finished pressing down again and then cleaned over with a cloth and some rubbing alcohol. The vents on the bottom side of the hood are still covered, so that way nothing bleeds through. I think everything is ready to spray. I went ahead and put a little piece of tape on the front to hold the body in place, and on the back, so that way as I spray it, it doesn't move around too much from the spray. If I just set it on the cardboard and spray the front here, the spray can sometimes spin the body in a half circle or whatever, and I don't like dealing with that. So this color is not exactly what I was going for, as you can see there. It's clearly a different green on the cap than it actually sprayed out. So I went ahead and did finish spraying it anyway in that color, but I am disappointed in this particular color. It is not representative at all. I was expecting a lime green, like, the light hot rod kind of Challenger green, and this is definitely a more like grass green. Not exactly what I was looking for. So I have not peeled the protective coating off the outside yet. This is just the inside, so maybe it will look different when I peel that off, but I highly doubt it. But anyway, I've got it in there. It has dried. I've got the masks that I need to peel off the windows and go ahead and do some cleanup on those. I need to peel the mask off the outside of the hood where I cut open these vents and taped it off. I'm hoping that it did not get on the outside, because I don't think the plastic really held on the outside, the protective, when I cut these openings here. So not sure. We'll see, but I'm going to go ahead and start peeling that off. I'm going to flip it over. You can really see now the detail work that I did, as far as the scratches on the underside, the silver, the little, what looks like bullet holes with the, little black, and then the sunken in and some paint missing. So that turned out well. I've got some little tire rub marks here in a half circle pattern as if it was tandem. So that often is the result of that. The fade right up here actually looks pretty cool. I do like that. And then, the rivets that I did I painted in silver there, they, kind of held up well. I've got the scratches and stuff on there that go all the way throughout, and pretty aggressive in some spots. So we'll have to see how that looks when I peel it off. You can kind of see back here like the spotty look that I created on there. But yeah, so that kind of gives it more of that dirty, you know, I think real world kind of look to it with, you know, the rubber bits on the back, which the rubber I'm going to have to touch up because I accidentally did that scratch and then did the rubber behind it, and I should have done the rubber and then the scratch, so that way it was kind of layered there. But other than that, I think the rest of it came out pretty well. Again, I've got more, you know, on this side, not as much because there's not as much damage that way, but I did go ahead and use the silver to create some marks in there and lines and stuff like for dents, and then did the same thing with some black kind of smeared on there, and then the you know, light tint color to kind of make it look kind of dirty. And essentially that's what it looks like. I do not have a wing, so I'm gonna have to probably order a separate wing and get that on there. But right now I'm going to go ahead and peel off this and then start peeling off the window masks from the inside. Then I'll probably go ahead and peel off the light buckets as well. Now that it's painted and those are done, that's not going to be an issue. So I'll probably peel those off, and then when I get the light buckets, I can go ahead and install them, and that will look a lot better instead of being blue. And then I do have some like one-way mirror film that I'm going to try and put on here. I don't know how well that's going to work. I have never tried to tint a RC car before with actual tint. So I will give that a try, and about to unmask some more of this and see what I end up with that way. I knew it was going to come apart. Around the dog bites, it did not stay together real well. Sometimes I gotta grab it and peel it out of the dog bites. Alright, so I gotta say that now that I'm actually unpeeling it, I think it actually looks better than I had expected it to. Not the same. So I am disappointed in that. I wanted it more of a lime green and not a grass green. But I do think it came out pretty cool, considering that this was pretty much a trashed body that my dog chewed the shit out of before I got to do anything with it. So I don't think it looks bad for something that most people probably would have just thrown away. So I'm happy with it. I like it. A little spot that I did came out pretty well. The only thing that I would say there is that when I was cutting it, I was a little too aggressive with my knife trying to slice through it, and I left lines on the body on this side where I was cutting across. So, but again, honestly, I don't think it looks that bad. And once I end up getting some sticker sets and shit, I'll probably end up putting, like, you know, stickers or something on this. I don't know what I'm gonna do. Maybe I'd drive it into a parking lot and play with it for the first time, and a pit bull runs up and grabs it and eats it. I have no idea, but I like it. So thank you for watching, and feel free to watch it over and over and over and over and over and over and over again, or check out some of my other videos. They're cool too. Okay.